Hello. Welcome to the Roundtable Sports Talk discussion show. I'm Littleboy here from the Fat Man Littleboy Show. And as you can see, I am on the set all alone. I want to thank you for tuning in. We've had multiple technical issues this evening, but we finally got going. I'm in studio today with Fat Man. He's actually producing today. Hey, Fat Man, how you doing?
Hello, little boy.
Hello over there. And we got BT calling in on the phone today. Hey, BT, how you doing?
Hey, guys. Unfortunately, I'm stuck at work today, so this is as good as I can do.
Yeah, it's better when you're in the studio, but we'll take you however we can get you. We're going to talk about a few subjects today. Fat Man and BT, neither one of them have any idea what we're going to talk about. We're just going to kind of be giving our opinions and stuff. And we are going to start out, well, first of all, I'll start out by saying we got BT in on the phone, but normally you can call in at 619-387-3457. You know, call in, join the discussion. It'd be a lot of fun. And with that going, we're going to go ahead and jump into the first subject here. Free agent signings in football. The last few days have been crazy. But what I actually wanted to talk about was the significance of the salary cap in the NFL versus no salary cap in Major League Baseball. Does that affect the way free agents are signed, and do you think one is better than the other? What do you think, BT?
I love the salary cap. If you did not have a salary cap in football, Jerry Jones and Dan Snyder, the Cowboys and the Redskins, would become the Yankees in Boston, spending whatever they could to win. Now, I'm a Redskins fan, so I don't hate that too much, but I think the salary cap sort of saves an owner from doing too much, from going too far. And, I mean, I look at Dan Snyder and all the screw-ups he's had over the years. I think being able to limit how much he's able to spend is actually good for the fans.
It also punishes the teams for making a stupid signing. Let's use Albert Haynesworth as an example. Although the Redskins tried to kind of trick the cap a little bit, and they got punished for that anyways. What do you think?
That's because they're damn dirty Redskins.
Yeah. I actually think that that's one of the reasons why football is going to continue to grow, and every year you really feel like your team has a chance. Whereas in baseball, there's the teams that always have a chance, and then you have the lower teams that every once in a while might have a chance. But there's such a difference between the low teams and the high teams in baseball, whereas in football, you have to be really careful. You have to spend a lot smarter because you're pretty much on an even playing field.
How very liberal of you.
Well, one of the things about the salary cap, though, that's good also is there's a salary floor. You have to spend a certain amount of money, too. So football teams can't just get away being cheap and decide, I don't want to spend that much. They set the salary cap, and you got to get pretty close to it, you know. And like a good example, the Chargers did not re-sign Vincent Jackson because they figured the money that they would spend on him, they could have put towards, other players. And I've been listening to a lot of talk radio here in San Diego. We're based here in San Diego, of course. And it's so funny how the fans, they call in and they complain about how cheap the Chargers are for not re-signing them and stuff. And that's not the case at all. They're going to spend the money. They just want to spread the money out a little bit different. They want to waste it all on one player. What do you think there, BT?
That is one that's definitely a very positive aspect of the cap, is that you have to get within 90% of that limit. So if the cap's 120, you have to be at like 105,
right.
Which means they are going to spend. In baseball, look at the Pittsburgh Pirates. If they could spend $15 a year, they would, putting people out there.
Yeah.
It's just they're cheap. And there's teams like that in baseball that don't want to spend money, but they just want to get it in. But I love the cap for that sole reason.
I believe that one of the reasons why there's not a cap in baseball isn't because teams like the Yankees and the Cubs and the Red Sox are fighting it. I think it's because the lower level teams are fighting it, because if you have a cap, you're going to have a floor, and they don't want to have to spend that much money. They don't want to be forced to spend money.
Well, if I may be able to interject here,
sure.
I have no problem with the Yankees spending what they spend because they can get it. I don't like the fact that they have to help other teams that are in less markets.
Well,
you know what I mean? I know we're talking about football right now, but
right.
You said Red Sox. Once you said Red Sox, that's it. You know there's a fight there. And I don't like the fact that they're always saying how, these lesser teams like the Padres here in San Diego do not have the same market, deserve some of the share, because they don't.
Well, they only get money from like luxury tax and stuff like that. When they do have a luxury tax where if they spend a certain amount of money, they have to pay like a tax on that.
Yeah, but I don't like that. I think that whole thing is a
Well,
mistake.
that's more of a we're starting to get political here, and one of the things that we need to remember is in football, the reason why football is so great is because of competitive balance. All the teams are on an exact even playing field. And you take a sport like NASCAR, like that too, they're trying to move towards that as well. They're trying to make everything the same so everybody's on an even playing field. Now, they haven't quite gotten there yet, but the last few years they've been changing the rules to, the idea is they want it to be best. Who pays for the sport ultimately? The fans do. They want it to be the most enjoyable for the fans. And if you market a sport that's only enjoyable for fans in a couple markets, for the overall sports, that's just not good. It just isn't, It's ultimately paid for by the fans, and that gets lost sight of a lot. All right, let's move on. March Madness. It's March Madness time. Everybody's following their teams. Everybody's probably filled out a bracket. My question is, you hear the argument all the time. You hear the teams that are on the bubble, the teams that should have made it, the teams that shouldn't have made it. Should they add more teams to the tournament? I know it's a 64-team tournament kind of, but now it's got 68 teams because you got the 4 playing games and all that. But what do you think, BT? You think they should be adding more teams, make it like a 128 team tournament, or what do you think?
Absolutely not. If you add more teams, it's already dull. How many people actually watched Western Kentucky and Mississippi Valley State last night? Granted, it ended up being a good game because it's 2 of the lower level teams, but those are nobody teams. Western Kentucky comes in at 15-18. You don't even have a positive record. They were last in the Sun Belt. It's a bad team overall. I think they should go at least stay here. But I would prefer going back under to a 60 team or something smaller than that. I don't want to go bigger. Bigger means more mediocrity, and there's already enough of that in college basketball.
I agree. I think they should keep it at 60. I don't even like the playing games. Keep it at the 64 teams. You move it to 128 teams, and now you're pretty much making the regular season obsolete. What's the point of of trying in the regular season? 128 teams are going to get in. You follow March Madness? I know. I'm not sure if you even follow that there, Fat Man.
I don't like basketball, so I'm done with that subject.
I got another question for you there, BT. Would you, if you were a college basketball, if you were a college, would you rather your team be a really like a 12 or a 15 seed in the big tournament, or would you rather be like a 1 or 2 seed with a chance to win the NIT? Which one would you rather be?
I would rather be the worst team in the 12 seed in the actual tournament. Because, like I said, if you go to the NIT, it's like second place.
Yeah.
You automatically, you're not even in the top 70 teams in the nation.
You're the best of the
worst. Saying something.
Yeah, you're the smartest kid in the dumb kid class.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You've done nothing.
Exactly. I was actually talking to Darren. I know he was going to try and be here tonight. He didn't make it into the studio, hence the reason why I'm sitting in here all alone. And he was talking about San Diego State, and he was saying if he was San Diego State, he would have rather they gone to the NIT tournament so they had a chance to win it. I couldn't have disagreed with him more. I think that the whole idea is to go to the main big tournament. You want to get in. I don't care if you're the last team in. You want to get in that big tournament. That's where the money is. That's where everybody's watching. Who's paying attention to NIT? I know that they're playing, but I'm not paying attention. That's for sure. All right.
There's not much publicity, and like I said, you look at teams over there. VCU last year. This year, it might be VCU again. The 12 seed teams have a chance to always get it if you get hot at the right time. But the NIT, like you said, it's second best. It's a smart kid in a dumb class.
Weren't they a play-in team last year, and then they went real far?
Yes.
Yeah,
they were one of the 12 or 14 seed play-in teams.
Which is funny
and
because
won to the Final Four.
I thought they should be eliminating that play-in game myself, but who knows? Maybe they would have been in anyways. We're going to move on to the third subject of the night. We're going to talk instant replay. I personally enjoy it, especially in football. I think it's necessary. It's part of the game. I know a lot of people think that slows the game down. Do you think it should be expanded in football? And also, do you think they should be adding it to other sports like baseball, of course? You say no there, fat man?
I was on that.
What, are you? Yeah, you were ready. You had that one in the holster, didn't you?
Okay, now think about it. I know you wanted to talk a little more about this.
No, keep going. Go ahead.
Since you were on basketball for so long and I started to fall asleep, I wanted to talk a little. You put instant replay in baseball, and you will literally have people die in the bleachers and in the stands because baseball, as long as it is, as much as I love baseball, it is long.
Yes.
And if you add instant replay to it, you'll have to have games that are a day and a half, 2 days long.
Plus, if you're going to add, I don't mind adding it. Actually, baseball is a very slow sport, but you need to figure out where you're going to draw the line because, are we going to go all the way to balls and strikes? Are we going to go fair foul? I know right now they have it for home runs.
Sure, but there's a reason why because the umpires can't always see if it's going to hit the yellow line. So.
Well, yeah, but you can't always see everything, but you got to determine whether or not how much you want to try and perfect the game. What do you think there, BT?
As a baseball fan, I've played baseball for 16 years, and I think it's perfect where it's at. I think for home runs, it's good. I think once you start getting into the fair or foul, then you're starting to take the human error out of it, and the human error is what the talking heads like to talk about. Like Armando Galarraga a few years ago. The guy was called safe at first base when he was out by a step, which prevented the perfect game from happening.
Yes.
That talked, and he's more famous now for not getting that than actually getting the perfect game itself. So I think I like the human error. I like the umpires and the referees being able to make mistakes. You can't take the human error out of it, otherwise,
I agree with you there. I agree with you on there. What about if you're going to go to boxing or MMA to judge whether or not a strike was an illegal strike, whether or not the guy slipped or was down? You think they should have it in those sports as well?
Absolutely not. I think it's when you look at boxing and MMA, it's very quick, very fast-paced, and I think it's fine where it's at. I think the referees do a good job. Sometimes they cut it off a little bit early, but I think they do a good job of judging when the person is not able to defend themselves, and that's when they normally do it. But I think boxing like that, NFL, I like where it's at. Overall, instant replay, I think it's fine where it's at, and I don't think there needs to be any changes to overhaul anything.
I actually agree with you on that. I actually liked the NFL, them adding every scoring play was reviewed. I thought that was a good idea because if a coach had lost his challenges or used his challenges, I still think that they need to review a score. A score is a big thing in the NFL. One thing that I do think they should change about the replay rule in the NFL, I know that if you get 2 replays, if you get both of them right, you get a third replay. I think that you should be able to use your replays until you get them wrong. If you use the replay and you get it right, you shouldn't lose it. You should still have 2 left, What do you think about that?
I don't like that as much. I think that would slow down the game a little bit too much. I think that the rewarding them for getting 2 right, but how many times in a game do you see a coach challenge a play twice and actually, get it right, get both of them right?
So I don't think it'll affect that much, but if the refs get a couple calls wrong, what happens if the refs get a couple major calls wrong in the first half of the game? You would challenge them both and get them fixed. Hockley. Although you know what, Hockley, I know, Fat Man, you hate him so much, and I was so upset about that play. But replay wouldn't have fixed it because the problem was he blew the play dead, and that was the problem. And when he came and he announced to the crowd, he knew he was wrong, but he had to make that call because of the way that it was, the way the play was. That was just a judgment call. As angry as I was about that. You can't get mad at a guy when he makes a bad judgment call. It just is a judgment call. That's just what happens.
Well, actually, I can get mad at him. Because that's my ability as a fan of the game to get mad at him. But if you add... I know we're talking about the other sports because I didn't get a chance to get in there.
Right.
This is your show, so I'm not going to jump in there. But, if you
should jumped in there pretty quick when I said baseball.
Well, yeah. If you add replay to boxing, I'm new to MMA, but if you add it replay to boxing, for what? Illegal hits? Really.
How often does that happen? Yeah, how often does that? When it does happen and the refs get it wrong, people make a huge deal about it and start talking about replay. But really, how often first of all, who watches boxing anymore?
Me.
But what normal person watches boxing anymore? But how often does it really happen? Enough to really warrant a whole replay system? I don't think so. I think worst case scenario, if they get it that wrong, they can judge it a no contest afterwards.
Yeah, well, I have a question for you. I mean, you have this on the show notes. Is this something that's coming up? I didn't read it through our new site. So
no,
I
just wanted to throw a subject out there, just subject, just something that's coming up. They always talk about baseball replay. They talk about that a lot, but I don't know. I got to be honest with you, Fat Man. It is so weird talking to you and not being able to see you over there.
And you keep looking into the booth.
I keep looking over there, and I can't.
Look at the camera.
It is so strange. I'm up here all alone. I got nobody to look at. So, anyways, those are the subjects for this week's show. We're going to be back next week. We're going to try and. We're going to live stream every single Wednesday. You can come right to pmlbsports.com. We're going to be live streaming there. You can reach me on Twitter at lbhost. You can also reach me at Littleboy at fatmanandlittleboy.com. Once again, the phone number to call in is 619-387-3457. Call in or contact me. You can contact us at director@pmlbmedia.com. If you think that you have a good idea or a good take and you'd like to be on the show, contact us. We brought Evan in a few weeks ago. Let us know. We love to have differing opinions. You want to plug anything there, BT?
Yeah, I got a question for both of you guys. I got to take Darren's spot this week and interrupt the ending and go ahead and ask a question.
Go for it.
Who do you think is the free agent winner so far, and who do you think has been overpaid for in the NFL free agency?
Well, so far it looks like the most aggressive has been Tampa Bay. They got that offensive guard, which was huge. I was really hoping the Chargers would make a run at him. So far, I think that they overspent on Vincent Jackson. I think that's a lot of money for someone who caught 60 balls last year for 8 touchdowns. $11 million. A lot of money for that. I guess the winner so far would be Tampa Bay, but I don't know. I'm not sold on their quarterback. I'm not sold on their team, and I think that those players are going to go there to die. What about you there, BT? Who do you think's the winner?
Well, hold on. No. You're jumping away from me. So
I can't see you.
Have fun, man. Get your opinion in there. I was going to call you now. It's okay.
Well, actually, I think it's your boy there who's the problem. Who's a little too expensive. Definitely wasn't worth it. And I'll just leave it at that because I know in a minute you'll be all over that. Also, I think you're going to see a lot of money coming out of Missouri here for Missouri, coming out of Kansas City for Peyton.
You think Peyton's going to Kansas City?
I think that they want him. They've said they want him. The owners, the coaches, they want him. They will do what they can to get him, and I think you're going to see some major bank flowing. Yeah, I just think you're going to.
I know we talk about Peyton Manning just about every week, but I think he's going to Denver.
Really? Well, it's
Titans have been talking too.
It's a funny thing you say that because I was just reading on our website, and you need to plug our website too that we have now, PMLB Sports.
PMLBsports.com.
That Elway is the one who's trying to get Manning, and he's working very, very hard at it. I don't know that you're going to see him go that route. I just don't see him in Denver because Manning is a maker. You know what I mean? He's not he'll make a team, and you walk into Denver and you always have Elway over your shoulder, kind of thing.
Well,
I mean, what do you think? I mean, am I wrong on that, or
I don't think. I think as long as they get rid of Tebow, if they are able to trade Tebow, I don't think he's going to want to be there and keep Tebow there. Also, I just don't think so because the fans. I think that's one thing you could do for those fans. I got a guy at my work who's from Denver, huge Denver fan, and he is all in on Tebow. He does not want Manning.
Right.
He wants them to keep Tebow. He thinks Tebow is the answer. And I think that's a lot of the Broncos, the way that a lot of the Bronco fans are looking at it. But I think if you're going to get rid of Tebow, the easiest way to make him happy would be to bring Manning in there.
Yeah, but he's commanding some serious dough, and Tebow didn't do too bad for them last year.
Yes, he got.
Oh, come on!
I hate to use the word lucky. I don't believe in luck, and he went out to win the game, tried to win the game, won the game. How's that luck? But things seemed to fall his way last year.
Yeah, but who does Denver have to play a lot and who does Manning not beat a lot?
Yeah, we seem to own him, but I'd sure hate to see him in the AFC West. I'd rather we have the mess that we already have in the AFC West. Let him go somewhere else. You know, just in case.
I know. And the same thing would happen if you went to Kansas City. But to be honest with you, I'm not even on me here. Let me put me on there. Hey, look, they're pretty guys on there. The only thing I could say is, I think we're going to see a Manning in a red uniform.
Yeah.
So.
What do you think there, BT? We'll go back to Manning again. You still think that he's you agree with Fat Man?
I think the only big reason why Denver and Elway would get Manning would be so they could get out from under Tebow. You think the only way fans would be remotely okay with it is if they got Manning.
I agree.
But I think for overspending, I think my team busted up a little bit for the Pierre Garçon trade. I think they busted that one out, and it's a little bit too expensive for my blood the way they went out and shelled $42 million for him.
2 years ago, Garçon looked like he was going to be unbelievable. In the last couple of years, he's just really, not really been very impressive to me.
I think BT just got sucked up in a vacuum.
I think he didn't get hit by another train, did he? He's in the wind tunnel. Are you there, BT?
So he said it, Pierre Garçon. And I had thought that you would actually have liked him, BT, but I think your team is shelling out a lot of money. And for those of you who don't know BT, we're talking about the Washington Redskins.
Right.
I think they're shelling out a lot of money, and I think that it's going to get them nowhere.
They got a big cap penalty this year, too, that they're going to have to fight through. I think that's one of the reasons why they couldn't get Vincent Jackson. Because they wanted him too.
Don't get me wrong. I love the Pierre Garçon pickup. I just think $42 million for a guy that's only been in the league for a few years, a 6th-round pick out of Mountain Union College, I think it's a little bit steep. But I think he will be a great player. He only had 5 drops last year out of 120 passes thrown his way.
Yeah, that's a good guy. I would have loved for Pierre Garçon to come to the Chargers, to be honest with you, but not at that price. That's just too much. Way too much.
No. The Chargers.
Fuck me.
Too much money.
Whoa, hello.
Alrighty. Well, I guess that's going to wrap us up for this week. Once again, the phone number is 619-387-3457.
Tell them about the website, little boy.
Come check out our website, pmlbsports.com. Lots of content there. As my buddy Nick always says, content's never stale. We got lots of different sports stuff going on there. We live stream every week. We have our videos up there. BT on PMLB has a video up there. We got our roundtable discussion. We have an Aztecs report that just started last week. That's going to be a weekly show. And then we are going to be starting a Padres show, a weekly Padres show. So come check it out. And I think that's it.
That's good. Can I say?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I say goodbye to the crowd?
Plug away there,
Fat
man.
Little boy, thanks again for having me on your show this week. I'm always here, but you usually don't want me on. So
right. You've been on 2 weeks in a row now.
All right.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Take care.